going on today, guys? Welcome back to Fix It Garage and what was supposed to be the last part of teardown of this EJ22. Boy, do I have some news for you guys today. Before I talk to you about that, let's go ahead and get this oil pump off. It's a few 10mm bolts. Let's get this guy off real quick and then we get to have a nice little conversation. Okay guys, so it's pretty straightforward. It's 7 10mm bolts around the oil pump and then we can go ahead and we can pop this guy off. So we got the oil pump off, and now is where we need to have a little conversation about what we found. Okay, so what you guys are looking at is the snout of the crankshaft. More specifically, where the keyway is supposed to go, which would be right there. So this is the keyway for the crank gear. Normally this goes on, and then the keyway sits in there and it helps keep it in place so it doesn't spin around freely on the crank. But what you guys are looking at right here is damaged right where the keyway is supposed to go. So the keyway would only be held in on one side, which that's not good. This crank is broken right there. So this went from a head gasket tutorial to now we're gonna be rebuilding the whole engine. And I'm gonna take this crank, and I've actually got another crank coming from a friend right now. Both of them are gonna go to the machine shop. We're gonna see which one they can fix. We're gonna have to split the case in half. We're gonna have to take the cases to the machine shop to get the decks machined to clean up the block now. So this is now going to be a way more involved rebuild than I was originally planning, but I'm gonna bring you guys along for this little adventure and you guys are gonna learn something along the way. So the next thing we're gonna do before we start tearing this apart is we're gonna talk about all the new stuff that has already showed up because all the parts are now here. So I figure we'll end this episode with some good news. Now for some good news, guys. Here are some of the parts that have arrived. It's not much, but here's some of it that I will need to put it back together once we get the crankshaft thing all figured out, but we'll deal with that in the next video. First off, we've got brand new covers. Normally people don't buy these, but because of what we're putting this in, which I'm not telling you about yet, we want to put new covers on it because we think it'll make it look a little bit better. We might end up throwing a coat of paint on them, still trying to figure that out. Next, we picked up this new tensioner. So if you guys remember the last video, when I took off the tensioner, we talked about how we were going with a different style tensioner. And I showed you in a picture. Here's that tensioner that I talked about. The other part that you're gonna need is this bracket, which I didn't show in the last video, but in order to run that tensioner, you need this bracket as well. We have a new water pump. Again, we are changing the water pump that we're running. This is off of an early EJ25 water pump and thermostat housing. The biggest difference between this one and the other one is where the thermostat is and how the lower hose exits. Instead of being on the bottom under here, it's on the side, so it'll go this way, which will be better for the project we're doing. Also, they run a different style pump. These blades are more efficient than the EJ22 pump blades, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna upgrade that on this engine. So on top of all that, we also have new idlers and gears with a timing belt. We have a new timing belt, and we have some new head studs. Normal things. Also, yes, we have brand new Subaru head gaskets, which are a must when doing one of these jobs. The other thing that we changed that I haven't really shown you guys yet, and I will when we tear this engine the rest of the way apart, is the separator plate on the back of the engine. The one that's on there now is made of plastic, because for some reason Subaru thought that was a good idea with these motors. We're going to be upgrading to a metal one like what is running on my Subaru behind me. Last, you guys can see we got our cylinder heads back. And these things are clean. They've been resurfaced, they're clean, and they are good to go. You guys can see that they did a really good job machining them. They are nice and smooth, and these things are ready to go back on the car. I still have to put all the cams and everything in it, but they are ready to go back on this engine. So there's all of our parts. This is what we have right now. Also, I have a whole bunch of seals and gaskets, but no one really wants to look at that stuff. That stuff's kind of boring. So this is all the big stuff that we have. There will be more parts coming, but again, if I told you what they were, it would kind of give away what it's going in. I still want to keep that a secret for a little bit longer. Okay guys, so what this goes to show you is that with any engine, you always need to expect the unexpected. I was hoping not to do a full rebuild, and now I'm doing a full rebuild. When you buy used engines, this is the risk that you run. You never know what you're going to get till it's delivered to your door. When you do buy a used engine, make sure you thoroughly inspect it, but also make sure you understand what is warranted and what is not. This engine is not warranted because we took it apart. Some companies will let you take it apart to a certain extent. Make sure you know your warranty, and make sure you look over an engine before you put it in the car. Thank you guys all for watching, and as always, if you like what you saw, remember to smash that like button, leave comments or questions down below, and if you want to see where this build series goes, if you want to see where this build series goes, remember to click that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any future videos. I don't know how well you guys were paying attention, but keen-eyed viewers will have seen a little sneak peek of a side project that is coming up very, very soon. Thank you guys all for watching, and remember that on stuff like this, you should never stop wrenching.